this article I found on 6 cars that seem expensive but rarely need repairs. This is coming from banking rates. Let's see here, because these are mostly gas cars, but it's an interesting perspective on where things are going in the car business. So the first one was Subaru Outback, a $29,000 car, and it's not the cheapest midsize SUV, but it's really cheap to repair. They're known for versatility and reliability. GMC Sierra 1500. This one's a full-size pickup. Now, we're talking about gas cars here, okay? So we don't really cover gas cars as much. And it's $36,000 is higher than the Ford Ranger, F-150, Chevy Colorado, Silverado, or Ram 1500. My argument with this is you can't buy a GMC Sierra 1500 for $40,000. You'd be lucky to buy one for $60,000.
That's more expensive than those. No, good luck finding an F-150 for that price.
Yeah, well, we've talked about this before, how large size pickup trucks are stacking up on dealer lots. There's a 4 to 6 month supply of gas powered pickup trucks on lots. I see these arguments that there's EVs sitting on lots. It's like, well, yeah, there are EVs sitting on lots, the ones that won't sell, because there are a bunch of ugly models out there that just nobody wants. And I kind of blame the big three for that. They made some really poor choices on design for some EVs. And then you see stuff like that Volvo we just looked at. It's like, well, that was nice.
Yeah, that's going to sell. That's going to sell it well at that price tag.
If we had those $5,000 cars here in the U.S., it would be different. Now, I know some guys bringing in a car that's going to be similar, but it's 4 doors, but it's classified as a low-speed vehicle, but it's still a 4-door car, but has a max speed of 50. And so it avoids some of those national highway traffic safety things.
Because it's not rated for highway travel.
Yeah, and they're going to sell it for $12,000 here in the U.S. So that'll be interesting. But once again, it's just basically an upgraded golf cart. It's essentially what it is, but it'll have a little bit over 100-mile range. It has a longer range than the Fiat 500e. So, it'll be interesting to see, because it's certainly cheaper. It's going to be cheaper than any gas car in the United States. But that company that's bringing those over, they target companies or people that just do deliveries. So the idea is it would be used mainly for somebody who's doing DoorDash and Uber. Well, I don't know about Uber, but because it'd be kind of small for Uber, but doing, delivering food, stuff like that.
Makes a ton of sense. With those such low price tags I've got in the back of my head, I mean, is that feasible for people to own 2 vehicles at that point? I've got my commuting car, I've got my golf cart that I take to the grocery store and do all that for my day driving, but then I can still have my SUV, I can still have that if I'm going to go cross country. I mean, at that $5,000 to $10,000, I mean, you could, if you have space, 2 vehicles for an individual.
It's certainly making vehicles more affordable, if nothing else. But one of the things that when people get a full-size pickup truck and it costs $8,000 to $12,000 to replace the engine a few years down the road, they usually go ahead and replace them in the pickup trucks. Whereas in other cars, when your engine goes out, most people don't replace it. But on a full-size pickup truck, people do, because that truck chassis has a lot of value. So that's just something that's a little different. Now, our next vehicle is the Lexus ES, and it's an inexpensive car, and it just isn't in the shop very often. And this is one of the things with Toyotas. Toyotas aren't in the shop, and Lexus is basically an upgraded Toyota. Now, I didn't expect this. The Genesis G80 and G90, these are big. Genesis, which is a Hyundai Kia.
They got their luxury. I wish I knew more about Genesis. It's a brand I really don't know much about.
Their logo and the look of the cars makes them look a little bit like a Bentley.
Yeah.
And they have very similar styling.
Yeah, their logo's even got wings.
Right. It does. It's very similar, to the point where it almost seems like it's ripping that off, but they are nice looking vehicles, and they are very nice vehicles. But here's where it gets so then we get to the Honda Accord. And we've all known the Honda Accord, the Toyota Camry. There's a few cars that are associated with longevity, minimal repair costs. And then after that, the next category for inexpensive to maintain and repair, pretty much any electric vehicle. And I thought, well, that's interesting, because I really wanted to see what they were going to say in here. EVs have fewer moving parts, means there's usually less that can go wrong, leading to lower repair costs. They do have tire issues, but you don't really replace brake discs and pads. See, this is kind of funny. This article says brake discs and pads will still need to be factored in, even though they have more issues from the stuff dry rotting than they do from actually needing to replace them. EVs are typically heavier. This has been somewhat disproven. I've been looking at a lot of numbers on gas versions versus EV versions of the same cars, and the EVs aren't even as much heavier as if that car was a convertible, because you know how convertibles are much heavier than regular cars. And the difference wasn't as much as what one would have thought, because people always think they're factoring in that battery weight, but the battery is replacing a transmission, an engine, fuel, a fuel tank. There's just a lot of things it's replacing.
Hi, I'm David with EV World News. If you like this video, then please press the like button. If you like the content and would like to see more videos on electric vehicles, then please hit the subscribe button. If you have some feedback for us, please let us know in the comments. Have a great day.